How's it guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's me, the South African Wanderer, and today I've got a new toy to show you guys. Well, actually not really. I got this DaVinci Resolve speed editor in March this year, and it's basically still in the box, as you can see. So as you can see, it's still in the box, brand new, untouched. And even before I got it, I waited for almost 3 months for stock to become available. So you may wonder why, if I waited so long for the speed editor, have I not used it yet? And actually, the reason I was waiting is more for this little card that comes with the speed editor. So this is a DaVinci Resolve Studio keycard that allows you a license for the DaVinci Resolve editing software. So I have basically switched to DaVinci Resolve from Adobe's Premiere Pro for a few reasons that I'm going to try and outline. And then I think I'm going to do a second video just showing you how simple it is to jump into the DaVinci Resolve editing software and how I've been finding it so far, and what use I make of it. So why did I get the whole speed editor if all I needed was the license card? And simple reason is this speed editor is 8,595 Rand, just for the speed editor, but it comes with the license card. And buying the license card alone is about 6,595 Rand. The prices have changed a little bit since I bought it in March. I think now this is 9,180 or something like that. But for the cost of the speed editor, you get the actual hardware, and then you get the license for DaVinci Resolve that is then yours for life. And one of the main reasons I switched from Adobe Premiere Pro to DaVinci Resolve is because Adobe's payment plan works on a monthly basis. So when I signed up for the full suite of Adobe software, I think they gave an introductory offer of I think it's $39 per month. You pay $9 for your Photoshop and Lightroom and Camera Raw and Bridge, and then you get a lot of other software for the other $30 per month, including Premiere Pro, and then some of the animation and other software tools that are included in that bundle. The only thing is that I only used Premiere Pro from that bundle. So Premiere Pro was effectively costing me $30 a month. But that fee is only valid for a year. And then after a year, the whole package then goes back up to, I think it's $59 a month. So it almost doubles in price, and you're paying over 1,000 Rand a month to be on that software. About $50 of that would be just to have access to Premiere Pro for me. Yeah, I think it was about January last year I noticed that I was paying that $60 a month or $59 a month. I phoned Adobe, and they quickly reacted. Their retentions department actually then extended the deal back to that initial $39 a month, and I was happy until this year again, when it reverted to that $60 a month again. And if you think about $60 is roughly 1,000 Rand, if this software you're going to pay 6,000 or 6,500 Rand for it, it basically pays itself back in 6 months. So if I stuck with Premiere Pro for the whole year at the full price, I would have paid for this software and then some by June, July, I think. So in January, I decided to make that switch to DaVinci Resolve, purely based on price and the cost effectiveness of the software. But there's some other advantages to it as well. So Premiere Pro is notoriously unstable. I would say I ran into issues almost all through the time using Premiere Pro. Whenever they made any software update, so whenever they had an update to the Premiere Pro app, your older videos would suddenly stop working. If you were in the middle of an edit, there'd be issues. There'd be issues in getting the media encoder to sync up with Premiere Pro, and then you spending hours trying to resolve issues that shouldn't really be there. And for me, it was getting a little bit annoying, because on several videos towards the time I switched, there would be segments of sound that would just be muted while encoding the videos. I don't know why that was happening, but I would then render a video, and if I caught it, have to re-render that video. But sometimes I would upload to YouTube and then only realize, hold on, there's a big chunk of sound that's missing, and it's just a whole lot of hassles that you don't really need when you are busy, and having to go back and re-edit is a mission in itself. I think then, speaking of rendering times, and when I do sort of the jump into the software, you'll see this. Premiere Pro's rendering times would generally be about an hour for every 10 minutes of simple video. So one track video with some titles and just some cross dissolve, in between the video clips, would be about an hour for every 10 minutes of video. So if, for instance, I was rendering a 40-minute video, that's 4 hours. And if it gets more complex, then you're adding more and more time to that video render. What I've been finding using DaVinci Resolve is that the render times have come down dramatically. I can render, a 10-minute video in less than 5 minutes now at 4K for YouTube. Just a simple video, straightforward. More complicated videos maybe take 15, 20 minutes, but still it's not the 4 to 6 hours that I was getting with Premiere Pro previously. And if for whatever reason, the render is interrupted with DaVinci, you could just pick up and, carry on rendering from wherever it stopped. Whereas with Premiere Pro, sometimes you'd have to go in and re-render the whole project. So I think just working with DaVinci, there's less bugs, it's faster. And I think it's proved to be, for me at least, a less troublesome app to use compared to Premiere Pro. There are some caveats though. DaVinci saves, live saves, so it's continuously saving, so it's very resource intense. And then it's also very GPU intensive in terms of your graphics processing unit. You need a very good graphics processing unit. And what that led to in the last month or so has been, a whole lot of troubles with my PC to get that PC up to a working standard that can then use DaVinci Resolve. So I started running DaVinci Resolve, as soon as I got the license key, I switched out of Premiere Pro and started running DaVinci Resolve. And what I started finding is that the playback on my PC was very choppy. So I was editing actually by the sound waves and ignoring the video altogether. And then while it did render, it took multiple tries to render because the GPU was using too much memory or resources, and it kept crashing. So then I took the PC in for what was meant to be a routine upgrade to the graphics processor or the graphics card. I had an NVIDIA 2 GB GT730 card in the machine, and that's a 2014 card, even though my machine was bought 2 years ago. And they still sell those cards as almost entry-level graphics cards. But it wasn't adequate to run the DaVinci Resolve. So then I got in a new AMD RX 6600 graphics card, 8 gig graphics card installed, and then that required an upgrade to the power supply. And then for some reason, the guys at EveTech couldn't get that graphics card to work. And for almost a month, it was back and forth with that computer, going in, them trying something, them telling me, oh no, you need this new component. I think they put in like a new hard drive eventually, and they reran the BIOS, put in new Windows altogether. And eventually they've got it to work, but I don't think it's optimal as yet. And DaVinci runs on it, and you can see the graphics card has made a difference. But I think it's just a caution that if you are switching to DaVinci, make sure that your system is able to handle the new software, and it is much more resource heavy than Premiere Pro, which would just run on my PC with that old graphics card, as it was. So yeah, that's sort of the reasoning behind why I switched to DaVinci Resolve, and I've been using it now for most of April and May now. Mostly on my laptop, doing my mom's simple video edits. But now that I've got my PC back, I'm gonna be able to run edits, more complex edits and heavier edits, I'm sure, on it. And then I can start, using more of the capabilities of the software. But overall, I'm happy with the switch to DaVinci. I'm not going to be paying anything more, hopefully, for video editing software in the near future. So at least 3, 4, 5 years, I think this should serve me. Hopefully they also, give you, once you're in the system, once you're in the ecosystem, they give you access to the updates. I think the version of DaVinci Resolve that I'm running is 18, and there's an 18.5 out at the moment, and it's in beta testing. Once that is launched, hopefully we'll get access to it as users of DaVinci Resolve 18 as well. I think there are a few quirks and things getting used to using DaVinci compared to Premiere Pro, but I think that's something to get into in a more detailed walkthrough of the software. So for now, I'm gonna sign off. I'll probably use this video as the video walkthrough on how to use the software. So I'll just do some recordings, screen recordings as I'm editing this video. And yeah, so this is going to be the end of part 1. And then you hopefully watch part 2 to see, how we use the DaVinci Resolve software itself. I think there's going to be a part 3 where I actually learn to use the speed editor itself. It's a nifty piece of hardware, and I'm sure it makes editing videos easier and faster. But for now, I haven't really looked into how you would go about using this. So when I get a chance to, when there's some downtime, I'll start teaching myself how to use the speed editor as well. Okay, so it's signing off on part 1. And don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, please do. And we'll catch you on the next one.